Okay, welcome. My name's TD, and I really wanted to make a quick video. And so recently, I have been considering van life here for 2025. And so, like a lot of people, I've been looking at a lot of YouTube videos. And something that I noticed, there's a lot of just amazing builds out there. There's a lot of great YouTubers that have DIY their vans, and it's incredible. And so when I look into the price of some of these builds to get them done, because even if you have some knowledge to be able to build this out, you have to have the tools. And to do it correctly, you have to have a lot of tools. And so, what I have been considering is a challenge for all of those people out there who have YouTube channels that are actually building out vans, and see if they can do a build out by using the shelves that already come in a lot of these Amazon and style vans that are out there that are for sale, because they already have the aluminum racks. And so by the time a person goes and purchase, a $20,000 van, to turn around and spend another, $20,000 to get it outfitted, it's just not reasonable. You just will stay living wherever you're living. And the whole idea for me is to choose van life for the next year or so, and put as much money away as possible, but also kind of slowly build out the van to what my needs will be, instead of getting something done in the beginning and realize, okay, you just spent a lot of money on a bunch of equipment for a van that you really don't like or you don't want to use. So I want to challenge people out there who do these van builds to take an existing Amazon van that has the racks in it and build it out in a way that would get a regular person like me up and going, with very very little money and very little tools that I have to use. So basically, I'm just looking at these guys to show how you can use the existing racks to frame out these van builds just to get started. So here is a photograph of a van that I'm looking at right now. You can see it's just an Amazon van. Here is the ProMaster is basically what I'm looking at. And so what I'm talking about is to take this first image here, and you can see the left side, or the driver's side, have lowered down the shelves on that end. And then to have someone come back and frame it out, right? So you have the aluminum top, you would frame that out, and basically that would become a bench. Over on the right side, you would frame that out, have it a little higher, and that would become your sink, and your cooking range would go there. However you would do it, you could still cut a hole in the aluminum, and you could put a sink in there. That should be, fairly simple. And then when it comes to the range top, either you could have just an electric plug-in and not cut a hole, or you could, eventually know what size the range would be, and during this build out, go ahead and already cut it out, and then over time you could purchase the range, and the hole would already be there. And so it would go from this initial frame out that is not much to this next image here, and you can see that this is where you could put whatever you want. If you wanted to put drywall up, you could put drywall up. Again, if you start with the frame and frame that out, you could do this over time. You wouldn't have to do it. That would be a good start if you could make sure that the shelves are in the right position, that the seating area is in the right position. Also, it could be wide enough, depending on your size, that you could, get some type of sleeping bag or padding that you could use it. It wouldn't be a great sleep, but again, we're just looking for someone who really just has enough money to purchase the van, get out on the road, And they would purchase a cooler they would take with them, or or a small refrigerator of some type. They would have either a generator or some type of power bank that they would get in there, and you can see it already has lights in there. And then you could use the LED lights, the Christmas lighting strips in there. And we're talking about, when I say just to get you started, I'm talking about like just for the first 6 months or the first year. Because again, once you're in the van, you're already saving money from, whatever your rent or mortgage is if you end up, selling your house. And you just don't want to do a full build. And I really want builders to work with the existing frames that already come in the Amazon vehicle. So that way it would save people so much money, hopefully, that could get them started. Now, I'm not a craftsman, so I can't do that. So it would have to be, you guys that have these YouTube channels, and that would be the challenge, for 2025. So people can buy a van, come to your YouTube channel and say, yeah, listen, this is how much it costs. I spent $250 in wood, just to frame it out. Over time, you could come back and you could put up, the drywall in those areas where you can see that I have, kind of graded out, but it's kind of a white area. And then everything else you would just kind of put in there. And then from there, the third part of the framing would be, if you have the extended bed or the extended van in the back that has kind of like the overhang, you would also have enough room to put maybe just enough plywood, and for a single bed that would be lengthwise, or widthwise, I guess, across the back of the van. And so you would also give you that storage underneath. So again, all of this framing doesn't have to be filled in the beginning. As long as it's sturdy, as long as it will support the plywood up there, and then whatever type of small mattress that you would put, and then you would have the counter space on the other side, and then you would have that bench. That alone, for me, is all I need to get started. Now, what I would want, and what I'd rather spend more money on, would be able to get an air conditioning on the roof towards the back of that van. And that would be, I think the X3 is like about $3,000. I'd rather spend $3,000 to get me started for that air conditioner and this type of style right here to get me going, and then over time I can move forward. It's a lot easier for me to stay warm than it is to stay cool. So that's why a air conditioner would be great to me. So anyway, so if you guys follow a lot of different people that are out there on YouTube, ask them, can they figure out a nice, simple, sturdy kit where they could use the existing racks as a bench, also as a countertop where you would put the sink in, and also maybe you cut out an area through the aluminum for a range to go in there. And again, we're talking about just putting the holes in there, and then over time you could purchase the sink 1 month, and then the next month you may come back and purchase the range, and then the next month from there. But I'm looking for very simple, sturdy build, basically those three main items. And for me, I could get started immediately, and I could hit the road. I can throw a mattress in there on the floor. I can sleeping bags, towels, anything else in there. I can bring my own water. I can get ice, and that would get me started. And not having a mortgage anymore, not paying rent anymore. Some people pay $2,000, $1,500, $800 a month. Your first month of living this way, you would have that $2,000 to start spending towards, outfitting the van. And again, I've learned that there's a lot of people who go and get these kits and they outfit the van in a certain way, and then a lot of stuff they don't need or they feel like they don't want. So I think that for me, it would be better to start basically at a skeleton rate inside the van, and then slowly but surely, once a month, every 2 weeks or whatever, when you got paid, to buy something small, see how you like it. Maybe you can upgrade it a little bit. Maybe you can put it in there as a temporary thing to see how it works. I saw this one guy talk about one of the kits he purchased that had the pump sink. And he said, well, that doesn't work because you put soap on your hand, you're using one hand to pump, and that doesn't work very well. And then I think he ended up getting a foot pump, and he said he splashed water. So again, there's a lot of different things that you can try, but I just think that so many more people would be eager to buy a van if they felt like, okay, if I can use the existing shelves that come in the Amazon in a way, again, you guys are going to have to do that, or find some of the YouTubers that do these build outs and just make it as simple as possible, and so we can get a good idea how we could basically build what I'm looking at, and just do it in a few hours, and that could get you out on the road. Okay, thanks for your time. I'll see you. Ciao.